Welcome to We Can Make It Better. Today we're going to look at what a compassionate system would be capable of. We will be giving some general descriptions for a few concepts and how this level of coordination can achieve them. Mass reporting and cooperation. We will be able to use each and every willing participant to help understand the world and the events within it. This would mean cross-referencing or double-checking information would become far more reliable and easier. This could easily be implemented to counter human trafficking and any other form of organized crime. Not only that, but with each person acting as their own moral compass, the morally gray zones will often be left alone or underreported, creating a compassionate buffer between the people and law enforcement to defend the people from unjust government mandates. This also opens up the possibility of our next topic, free mass education. This means more doctors and nurses in more places, more engineers and more childcare professionals everywhere. This wouldn't be some distant workforce either. With this kind of open possibility, many people can begin following their passions and dreams. This includes you and your best friend. Wait, I hear ya. School not your thing? Never had any luck with it? Well, we have the answer to that. This level of education system will be open to change and modification. What this really means is we will be able to cater to each and every person with education, methods, mentors, and paths specifically tuned to you. This means anything it has to. From children reading word problems to others playing video games, as another watches a video of their favorite YouTuber explaining their topics in an exciting way. The education system has long been lacking, and this would give us all a chance to learn and understand the world around us. Thanks to the nature of a compassionate system, we could even ensure that the education system only teaches universal emergent truth. While other content would be allowed, it would not be considered in this higher tier of fact. What would we ever need with so many educated people? What happens to them when their jobs are taken and there is no more work? Well, with all of this new unified mind power, we can answer that and move on to our next topic, shared intelligence and checks to power on political and business affairs. Long have the limits on information and education created bottlenecks that allowed for groups with influence to manipulate and lie to the masses. But with a widespread, educated population from a diverse set of origins, this becomes much more difficult. Each and every government in the world is vulnerable to corruption and manipulation. It is up to only its citizens to hold them accountable. This is no declaration or new information, simply a fact, true to the nature of humanity and history. A compassionate system can be used to track respectability and reliability of businesses and their owners, as well as politicians. There is currently no simple or easy way to look up these high-power legal entities that even begins to hold them accountable. So evidently, this would be required to be created and maintained by the people, as these living beings, by law in the US, have no legal accountability and the money and power to cover up any issues. With a more reliable industry in demand, we can move forward to considering a more reliable market that works for the people and not against them. Market and resource coordination. With checks and balances in place, we can then move to coordinate our resources more effectively. This means understanding the wants and needs of the world's populations. This doesn't get any easier than when you can ask each and everyone in real time to get real feedback and numbers. This means greatly reducing food waste by supplying as much as needed and not overflowing some markets. This would mean steadier prices for farmers and consumers alike. This could also be implemented for better marketing, making a never-before-heard-of 1 out of 3 of your ads resulting in purchases. This means the advertising budget of future businesses could be massively reduced, giving those companies a much larger profit margin. This goes across the board, and not just food, with people needing clothing, housing, and all kinds of goods and services. These markets would all be improved, resulting with increased competition and profit. Natural disaster-proof housing, aiming for a 10,000-year city. The housing market, for example, is being spoiled by the insurance industry. We in the United States only build homes out of the cheapest materials that all have to be replaced periodically, only in a lifetime or two. This means your family is just safe enough. with this house, with just enough support and just enough reliability to hopefully outlast the amount of life that you have left after you purchase. This is the bet that home insurance markets are taking, is that you are going to die before your house collapses. This is just the nature of that market, because they don't have to pay you out, and then they can charge the next person a higher premium. And when the house finally collapses, their whole goal is to just make more money back than they put in. We need a solution to this in a turbulent time where insurance companies are abandoning people and even more severe natural disasters and unusual weather are in our future. It is about time we consider disaster-resistant housing that will last for the indefinite future. And while this topic is too big to cover in this video alone, I believe that we could build cities that would last for 10,000 years, as this is how old some of the currently inhabited cities are, with Jericho clocking in at 11,000 years old. This would take massive coordination and knowledge to be able to accomplish, including modern comforts and leaving space for what the future may hold. This city would require a lot of work and faces a lot of problems, from pipes that won't deteriorate in 10,000 years despite erosion, to blending nature and other life to work naturally to help maintain our homes and lives. This would look different depending on where and what you are building around the world. We would have people who have built and experienced every kind of weather and environment working together. This would mean every backyard gardener would have access to farming and plant experts all over the world, all the time. And with this, every backyard would become a sustainable, life-supporting ecosystem that can be adjusted as needed to accommodate the soil health and even help support your community with produce or pollinator spaces, seeking to improve both the health of the local environment as well as the health and life of those dwelling within. I feel it is appropriate to add that it is unlikely these houses would take over the market. Instead, they would create a supply of housing that will endure over time, helping to stabilize the market, creating more safety and security around housing for everyone. The end of world hunger and thirst is possible. The end of world hunger and thirst has been possible for a long time. We have produced more than enough food for humanity to eat for a while. With desalination technologies and private companies or local governments buying up water rights, the common excuse when questioned, a politician will often answer simply logistics and refuse to go in depth. This really just means that the wealthy are mass hoarding resources, similarly to what happened during the Irish potato famine. All the while, the country could have bounced back, but the wealthy and powerful clung to their potatoes, refusing to release them, meaning that no more were planted, only making the problem even worse. Our network of international informants would be able to locate, identify, and solve the corruption and or bigotry that are the source of these issues. With all of humanity coordinating together, it would be a lot harder for anyone who is trying to take advantage or manipulate us. Community support and policing would become a real lifeline that people can rely on, and in turn help make life better for everyone around them. Natural disaster assistance. This kind of coordination is not only limited to the business side of things. With this massive network of people able to help at all times, they can coordinate and identify survivors and begin the groundwork before emergency workers even arrive. A compassionate system could achieve all of this faster and with more precision than any office or coordination team could dream of. This might help to imagine something akin to like a flight coordinator in movies, but instead of a control tower, they're sitting at a park bench, at home, or at work, or wherever else they may be, as they are ready to respond at a moment's notice. These real-life heroes would step in using their own judgment and knowledge to help save lives, just by using chat rooms and considering past disasters to plan for future ones. Every little bit helps. The benefits of a compassionate system are undeniable at this point, but I'm going to raise the bar even higher for our last topic. Assisting the governing bodies through complex issues through getting the best people for the job. So far, I've been explaining issues that many of you may assume should be solved by governments or ruling bodies. However, any separation between the populations being represented and those representing them leads to oversight, bottlenecks, and unhappy citizens. With this kind of decision-making support, the leaders of our nations can make the right calls, and we can tell when they don't, and ask why. Now imagine this power in the hands of every little boy and girl, every gardener, and every passerby in your neighborhood. They are no longer strangers, but somebody who might have helped you through your hardest day, or somebody you may have helped through theirs. This would unite the world like never before. As we are facing dark times ahead, standing together is more important than ever. This too can be assisted by a compassionate system. Imagine every council worker and every world leader with a device that they can ask anything, and the best possible solutions are displayed in the best possible way by the best possible people every step of the way.